had more skills because I was self-learner at the time. And how do you justify? Because I was running my own company right now, so still they are stuck with the unskill which is not equivalent to for the industrial requirements.
That's true. That's only because of your motivation, your self-interest.
How do you, like, overcome?
I can say that in every batch I can find the candidates like you, but not all the students like you. Okay, I'm having students who started their own studios, who are with millions of downloads of games. Teapot Games is one game studio from our student. Seven Summits is one game studio from our student. Raunak is our student. So there are many. And at the same time, we are encouraging our students to start their own studios and all. So in that way, in every batch, there will be around 10% who are exceptionally good. But I can't say that everybody are like that.
Like many of them even surely like interested to get into the institution, but I think it's just too expensive, like cost of 1 lakh or 2 lakhs. I think they just refer the YouTube videos. How can you even have like advice, because they're gonna be interested, that has to be give somewhat of support from your end for the institution.
See, one thing from the institution, what kind of support means, we used to encourage them with certain what we can call workshops, guest lectures, that kind of thing. Some open workshops, guest lectures, that kind of things are there. And we are having what we can call, we are visiting the colleges, we are conducting the workshops, we are conducting the guest lectures, that kind of thing. But when it comes to the material, that's one big problem that I'm facing, because there is no systematic approach. For example, for one particular subject, if for this batch, if I'm the mentor, I can teach that subject in my own way, in my own style. My material is different. Next batch is the same subject. For that, if I have a new mentor, that approach is again different. So even here, facing a lot of difficulty to prepare the material, to prepare the what we can call video lectures, to record them and all. But in somehow we are streamlining, and we are giving multiple versions of what we can call materials, documents to the students, and we are asking them, these are the different approaches. By going all those material, you can prepare your own approach. That's the way how we are teaching how we are guiding the students.
So add to that, in order to have a proper approach to teaching this, in the game development, we use, when we are actually setting our milestones, we use something called as conditions of satisfaction. It's like, what does it take for this milestone in order to be completed? It is the same thing that was also used by our faculty for them when they were teaching us. Hey, you're learning programming. Guess what? You're learning to make your own game engine from scratch. You could make anything if you're making your own game engine from scratch. So, alright, so how do we actually teach things? So let's break it down into individual conditions of satisfaction. Okay, by the end of February, you will probably have one triangle on screen. And the end of March, you will probably have a console. The end of this thing, like, you'll probably have so-and-so, something like that and all that. You'll have different games, different perspectives and all that. If you're building your own game engine, do you want to build your own render context, which is basically like your entire render system that is from scratch? Like, do you want to use OpenGL or DirectX? So how does that work and all that? So if you break things down into individual segments, and like, this is what it takes in order for me to have my conditions of satisfaction. If you can learn that better at college, to go ahead. The problem with online learning is you do not have those things set in standard. So you are like just winging it. Okay, I'm going to watch this guy's tutorial, or I'm going to watch this guy's tutorial, which is great, because you'll go broad, but you won't go deep. Another thing, advantages about learning things in person in a college-based environment is you have like-minded people together. That is something that nothing online courses will do. We both had different experiences, for sure. I can only talk about my experiences. The best moments in my life is when I did my master's in the US, and it's like every single person is a weirdo like you, and like likes games and does weird stuff like you. You'll never find a more harmonious set of people in an actual college-based environment. Maybe that will work out for you, maybe it will not, but you would have to attempt it first in order to see whether that's right or not for you. I'm not saying that's the good or the bad way. There are a lot of options. It's your life. You're all grown-ups. You can make grown-up decisions. Just experience things first before giving up on it.
Yes.
For founders actually. Basically for students who are good at it, and we are talking about exceptional students, right? So what do you suggest, to start off the company after graduation or to have some experience in some company? Which would be better?
Do you want to take it or should I?
You take it first and then.
Alright. I'll be honest, you can start whenever you want. There's nothing stopping you. It's a free country. I would recommend failing first. The only way you can fail first is have some experience in failing first. It is, I know it is harsh. There's this, how do I put it? There's this thing that was being taught to me when I was being studied. It's like, it is okay if you fail here. It's better that you fail here than out there. And while I was working, my boss was like, it is okay to break things because we know how to fix things. And then they'll only rely on us how to fix things. So you learn those things. And if you want to start your company, it is great. It's just, there's the saying, like, heavy lies the crown. So it's a lot of responsibility when you're starting your own company, because it's not just you. You have your staff, their livelihoods, their families that are dependent on you. You are responsible for that. And if you go kaput, it's their lives that you're affecting. And so bear in mind that, be confident that, yeah, sure, I can probably take care of this before you actually step into it. VK started straight out of college and it worked out for him. And there's no good or bad answer. Yeah, it's just be thoroughly planned. Okay, is this what I'm doing? It's like, do not just wing it. It's like, I want to make a game, let's just make a game. That's not a good way to start. Break things down, write it first. Like, if you are unable to write down your thought process in the first place, you can never make it down in the first place. Break it down. This is exactly what I need. This is what I will eat. I do not have this. Can I change my scope and see, like, can I do this and try things in baby steps and all that? So the studio that I started and the game that we are making right now, we can have some idea about it, but it's like, it's going to be successful. Maybe or not, I don't know, but it's not the game that I wanted to make when I started the studio. This is just the first game that I know that 2 games afterwards I will get to make the game that I want to make and all that. So think as your dream as your last option. Think about what smaller baby steps do I need. Hey, if I'm going to make something like an RPG, let's make a small 2D game which has a small inventory system. Like, all of these will build up over the course of time, and all these experiences will add up over the course of time.
You can share yours.
Yep. So yeah, man, you could straight up start from college. So no worries there. You could also start it while you are in college. So that's not the problem. The problem would be the mindset that you have. Are you fit, or are you mentally ready to take that kind of responsibility? So that is what is going to make or break it, because there will be times, and most definitely there will be times when you'll have to wrap up and there's no way out, and yet if you have the mental capacity to move on, right, make the right decisions, sacrifice few fishes to save the ocean, stuff like that. If you have that kind of mindset, you could start your company or startup, whatnot, at any point of time. But there's a saying, a very general one: if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So make sure that you're planning everything that you're going to. If you're starting a company, definitely have the runway for at least a year, because if you're doing product, you need at least one year worth of runway to have that headspace to kind of have a team together. If you're a solo dev, then there is no point in even having a startup, right? Just make your game. If it works out, then start out having I know people right now who had multiple successful games, and yet they are not a studio. They're just indie studios, indie people who are not registered anywhere, sole proprietorship and whatnot. So the idea is, you'll definitely know if you're capable of maintaining a bunch of people right out of college. If that is not something that is a skill set to you, then probably you're going to fail. So make sure leadership is not exactly a skill that can be taught. You'll have to pick it up. Obviously we could say these are necessary, but you'll still have to pick it up and naturally be good at it. So point number one, if you are ready for that kind of responsibility, if you are ready to deal with not making a game for 6 months and just dealing with people, stuff like that, because founders do have to do that a lot. You would say, no, I don't want to deal with people, I just want to make game, then you probably are not a good fit to be a founder. So make sure that you are, because even in any field, right, like even superstars or movie stars, right, they don't deal with acting on the daily basis. Their entire 6 months would look like 70% negotiating with scripts and directors and whatnot, and there's 20% of acting and whatnot. So that is how even a founder schedule is going to be. You're not going to sit on the game every day, and if you are comfortable with that kind of mindset where you're not a game developer, you're probably running a studio, you have to play both a business guy and a creative guy. If you think that's your jam, then you could start right out of college. But definitely, just don't start blindly. I've seen a lot of startups fail without experience. Few people think that hiring a bunch of people together and putting them in a room will make a game and start earning money. So definitely don't be naive. Do your research, and if you think you're confident to make something exciting for people, jump. Trust your gut, but always don't fail to plan.
I want to add a point to that.
So I saw many students of us who started their studios while pursuing the course in their second year or third year, did all the experiments. They have gone through the entire process of failures, normal game, then commercial quality game, that kind of things, good number of downloads and all. By the time of their graduation, those are with successful games. Those are with successful studios. We're having around 10 to 15 that kind of success stories from Backstage Pass. If they start developing the game, means we are encouraging them to register their studio. It's not costing much, but they can have that proud moment for them that it's my studio. Many people can register their studios, but there are some people who are able to continue with them. Yes, and another thing is, during the course, if you start that kind of journey, there will be no pressure on you. Suppose if you are doing your second year or third year, if you develop a game, whether it is good or bad, whether it is with good number of downloads or not, successful or not, but everybody will appreciate, because you did something, you started learning. There may be some failures. For next game, definitely you will do some betterment. Like that. Suppose if you start experimenting after your graduation, you need to answer many people. Parents, okay, we may convince the parents because they are with us, we can convince them. But what about the neighbors? What about the near and dear? Everybody will ask what you are doing, what you are doing. We can't face it. That's a big problem. Because of that, some people, even though those are having that in mind, those are compromising. Those are doing the game development, or those are having their own studios, doing the work in the weekends, but during the weekdays, working for the sake of family or near and dear in a regular job. So that's the thing. But if you have that kind of idea, and if you start that early during your course of study itself, you can cross all those hurdles during the course, then you can come like a successful entrepreneur from the college itself. So I saw many people like that. There are so many success stories like that.
Just to add another point onto that,
Yes, you'll have a lot of friction between whatever when you started, like your parents or your family or something like that, and you would have to deal through it for sure. This thing that said, like, if you cannot deal the criticism of your parents, you cannot deal with the criticism of your neighbors. If you cannot deal with the criticism of the neighbors, wait until you hear from the criticism of your boss or your supervisor. If you cannot deal with the criticism of your boss or your supervisor, wait until your game goes live, until somebody, a fat Reddit guy, starts commenting on your game saying this is a piece of shit, go kill yourself. Like, that will hurt you. So be prepared to brace those negative things. So it is part of the job. If you are very sensitive to those things, wait, gain some experience, gain some hate, do some like stand-ups or something like that to gain some confidence, then start.
I would like to add, see, entrepreneurship in India has become the fashion, you know. It's like everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and it's a bit of a fashion nowadays, actually. But there should be a lot of thought process behind, you know, what you want to start, whether it has, you know, appeal, or, I mean, have you tested the idea, first of all, and how many, you know, people have tried your product or game. So it all depends on what is the idea. If it is a product market fit, have you tested it before? And of course, how can you manage the show? You know, so it's not a fashion. You know, it's more of a pretty serious thing you're going to enter into, actually. So you have to have a lot of responsibility to sell further. So I mean, take it seriously. Test it first. Start small. You know, there is something called Google Springboard, you know, where you can you know, like Google Springboard, right? Right. So I mean, what they do at their end is they just have Google Sprint, they call it. So Google Sprint, you can identify, let's say, 5 potential customers, and then you can show the screenshot of your personal product, and then you can analyze. You know, so that sort of mechanism have you done for your product, and accordingly you can take a call that, okay, I mean, this is what it stands, you know. So that's the thing actually I would like to put, you know, in terms of taking it more seriously. And it's not a fashion; it comes with a lot of responsibility, you know.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir.
Any person who is passionate about game, they obviously have a big more family of schools. Like this, something they can say proud of being a proud key. So I've seen a lot of people, lot of passionate people, and honestly some very skilled people. So they want to start their something more like a studio company. So you know, when they start, they're very excited. They have some people, they're some friends or something, some similar like-minded people. They start something for a family. They start a studio in a very small place. They are very excited. They start developing games. They start making games. So they have a dream of building a studio from the future. So when they move on in forward, they face problems. When they start studio, obviously you have to keep your studio survive. And if you're a big team, you have to help. You have to build your team. You have to grow. So lots of people they have a dream of making their own game, making their own AAA games, big studio company. So when they grow, there's a situation where you have to deal between your dream and your survivability. So there are lots of scenarios, lots of examples where people start their own studio company, and they have to finally get deal with working for some other studio, or either shut down, or that's the scenario. So what's your perspective on somebody who wants to start their own studio and a path which you want, which is more secure, or which I would say more professional? So what way you think a group of people should move on to stay safe or to build something
one line answer, fail fast, fail differently. You know. Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, actually, you have to fail first, right? And then you can really understand what exactly can go right. So you have to fail multiple times with multiple agendas, with multiple aspects, you know, and then you can really understand that what can be the right, you know. So fail fast, fail differently.
There is no universal answer. I'm sorry to your question. I can only talk about case studies on my end, on his end. Like when VK started out his studio, he started making his own games. Of course, he had envisioned like this is exactly what I want to make, but initially he had to take up like service-based projects to keep the company afloat and work on his same games. My case is a bit different. My studio is a part-time studio. Like everybody works 3 hours a day. That's not more than that. I work a full-time job and I use that to fund my studio. You can use something else to fund your studio, like whatever works in your business model. Maybe you have a wife who's filthy rich. Who knows? Your source of income. Like if you're starting your studio, it is your job to find a source of income, regardless of whatever the means necessary. I mean, don't do criminal stuff, please. The idea is like find whatever ways to make the company afloat, but do not lose your employees in the process. You brought them on board with a particular vision in mind. Hey, we want to make the next GTA. All right, what are we making? Next Flappy Bird. Why? Because this puts food on the table. They'll probably sustain it for a month or two, but you'll lose them if you keep continuing doing that and not work on the thing that you promise. So deliver on what you're trying to do, find other alternate ways. There are so many broad answers, there's no standard definition to it. I think the best way I can tell is come aboard and figure it out. Let's share our stories.
Yeah, so starting a studio in the right way, there is no right way to start a studio, but if you're talking about financials, right, as I said, you need to have a runaway. If you're having a baby, you need to make sure that you have money to make sure that you're supporting it. So it's just like that. So you either make money to service, you either have a full-time job like he said, or maybe you don't start fully commit to the studio first, slowly start building a project in stealth, and then if you find some investors or publishers or something like that, you could go full-fledged. So there are multiple ways to start a studio, but if you sit around and without any sort of plan, if you think 4 people are going to sit together and make something and it's going to work out, then you're setting up yourself to failure. So make sure there's a plan, at least something that makes sense, right? So runway is definitely important because funding in India is scarce for gaming at the moment. Obviously, we are getting funded, but it still is not happening at the rate that we think it's supposed to. I've seen a stat where gaming companies together have raised 2 billion in India in the last 5 years. So yes, there is money, it's just not enough. So at the moment, I would encourage you to have demos, vertical slices when you're already part of some full-time position, and then jump into a studio if you have something promising, because gaming is entertainment at the end of the day, and something that's entertaining to you might not be entertaining to a bunch of people that are trying to give you money. Right, so these people are heavily based on numbers. They'll tell you what the target audience are, who are you targeting, what are the kinds of games that with similar size have made, and how do you think you can justify the same amount of sales or something like that. So there are a number of questions that you'll have to be prepared for, and there is no right or wrong way to start a studio. What I'm trying to emphasize is that if you are doing something risky, there needs to be a plan B. It could be a service, it could be your full-time position, or it could be your IT job and you're jumping into this, something like that. You need to have a backup. Without a backup, you're just setting yourself up to a foggy way. You don't know what's going to happen, and you're also leading your team along with you into that pit. So
have a roadmap, have 1 year runway at least, to begin with, and then you can start about starting a studio. Before that, just don't think about a studio. Just think about them as games. They will in turn take care of you and build a studio. So yeah.
I have, this will be a last question. Can you list 5 last failures we have done in last 2-3 years? Top of them, it changed your career. Then students can see that it should be a defining point in their life, or going to that, or may not going to that. That could be one case. If you can share.
So some of the question you're asking us to explain how Shape It. It's a hyper casual game. Was made literally on nothing, right? So it's a simple game that I launched on App Store. For about 8 months, I didn't know what was happening. I just launched it, a drop in the ocean. Nobody can see it. And after 8 months, it somehow got featured on Chinese App Store, and I got about 70,000 downloads. But after that, it just again it goes out of curation, and then the downloads drop. So this is before me starting the studio. Gamers have played it and whatnot. But at the end of the day, there are thousands of games that are launching every day, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is market to many people. If the audience don't know about your game, then there's no point in committing yourself for 3 years or 4 years and making the game. You'll need to figure out a marketing strategy from day one. If you don't have a marketing strategy, find a publisher and let them figure out the marketing strategy. If you are doing an in-house marketing strategy, find the money for marketing, because I'm telling you 70% of your video game budget is going to go for marketing if you're going to do it on your own. So I think that I would necessarily not call it an exact failure, but it was made on nothing. But I definitely did learn that marketing is way more important than making. I mean, obviously you need to have a good game, but if there is no marketing, then your game is nothing.
So I have like 2 failures that I'd like to share. One is when I was literally starting out. The first thing I did was, alright, let's open up Unity or Unreal and just try to make something. Let me make a Flappy Bird clone or a Temple Run clone or something like that. And I did this for multiple projects, and how many of them do you think ended up seeing the light at the end of the day? 0. Not a single one of them. So the thing that I learned is, write down your ideas first. Don't jump straight into the engine. Put down your thought process onto a piece of paper, chalkboard, or even write on the soil. It doesn't really matter, or just talk to somebody. Hey, this is exactly what I want. When I press this button, this is exactly what will happen, and this is exactly what the things will go on and all that. If you have that thing figured out, the probability of you seeing through your game will increase exponentially. That is one advice I would give. To folks, this is stuff that I failed multiple times, and God knows how many game projects are there in my external hard drive which haven't seen the light of the end of the day. But the same principle applies. And the other thing is, if you start on a game, see it through. Ship it. Even if it's bad, ship it. Even if it's ugly, ship it. Get the criticism for the public, get the hate, get the positiveness. It will change you, it will inspire you, or it will teach you a lot of things that you couldn't have learned if you haven't shipped the game. Not just individuals, even big studios do this. If you look at Gollum or Redfall and all that, they knew this game is not gonna work out well and all that, but they still ship it because of all the hate. Every single YouTuber does a deep dive analysis. You're like, this is what went wrong. We missed in our QA thing. Shit, we should have done this differently. Why did we decide to do this? Let's not do this. You learn a lot of things if your game is out there, even if it's ugly. Yeah, it's your job to receive the hate. Don't kill yourself over it. That's part of the industry, but see it completely through. Don't just give up. It's I don't want people to judge me just because it's not good. Put it out there. Put it out there for sure, but don't leave it halfway through and say, I'm done with this.
we have developed some 25 games earlier before Tanaji actually, and they failed miserably. Few of them they did partial. I mean, they are saying partial success. So I understood one thing out of that. Key only having a good idea is not sufficient actually. Of course, you need to figure out a good or the best idea possible for your end customer or end gamer to which you want to cater. But as this is a marketing world and you're just dropping the ocean, so you need to figure out that how I'm going to market the product, right? If it is a product market fit or not. See, if you have spent 2 months to develop, that means that you might have spent almost lakh or 1.5 lakhs rupees to develop. So that would be a development cost. But what about the marketing? So I'll put some light on marketing as well. So for your game, you need to have some marketing budget as well. For on monthly basis, maybe if you put let's say 50,000 or 1 lakh for marketing, so you need to figure out what is ROI. So how much I'm getting back as far as my marketing money is concerned. Is it like 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs I'm getting back out of the market? So how it's going to happen actually? Are my products, are my enough purchases happening? Are there enough ads in the product actually? So how I'm going to get back the money? So that's the first thing you should keep in mind, and then only you can able to have chances of survival. So that's my thought on I mean for all young entrepreneurs or all young game developers. You need to put this thing in mind actually. It's not only development, because many times what happens is like people only focus on having a good game and they just don't know what's the market is like. So there are only few ideas once in a blue moon. They are like unique and original. Peter Thiel has a book called 0 to 1 in which he mentioned that all the basic original ideas are like very, very rare to have. So all these games are like mimics, so they have the earlier versions, and then you polish them, you pick them a little, and then you came up with some small innovation, and then you push it again. For example, if you have, let's say, Super Mario, you can have Jai Hanuman, that is an Indian version of that, but that's not sufficient, So you need to have basic genuine ideas to create a product actually, and it will take a while. It's not happen, out of the blue actually. And if you don't have them, so don't fake, don't fake it actually. So that's the solution I can give to you. Thank you.
Because I feel
so that most successful games comes from the Japanese gaming industry. Yakuza, Pac-Man, Super Mario. From the history from the starting gaming, where is a born from till date, most of the successful games came from the Japanese culture. So how is that culture different from the Western culture? It's a complicated, not but it's important, too important.
So yes, it's very broad per se. There's a lot of cultural differences between Japanese and English stuff too, but essentially most Japanese games start with this philosophy. Level 1, you rescue a cat. Level 100, kill a god. That is the actual principle, whether it's Yakuza or Final Fantasy or Pokemon. It is pretty much the same thing that's there. Western game design uses a lot of Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, or like 3-act structure, that thing, like, okay, you have your Star Wars kind of inspiration. There's a beginning, middle, and like even if you look at things like Uncharted or things like that, there was a happy beginning, then middle, may clutch, and then may happy ending and all that. This is in terms of like overarching game design. There are multiple theses done by multiple folks who did like actual comparison and level design between Japanese and American or Western game design stuff. To paraphrase your question, also, like, Japanese have more games, but American games are more successful games. In terms of revenue, they make a lot more money. 99% of the Japanese games are not published outside of Japan. So you don't even know them. Yakuza was a hit for 10 years before people even knew Yakuza existed. So I'm not really sure, like,
What is the consistent
yes,
successful?
yes, what is the actual criteria for successfulness? It's a completely different industry driven by its own culture, but it also has foundational game design rules into its like the actual philosophy. It keeps itself distinguished, but also in scope. I don't think there's a better way to explain such a broad question. I'm sorry.
Actually, I have played Destiny with you.
Yes.
So, there is stories, they adapt from that story.
Mm-hmm.
It's inspired from the Western, but the design is the Japanese design.
Yes.
But the stories for the game is for the very
Yes. Whenever Japanese do story, they do not use a 3-act structure. They use something called as Johakyu, which is the 5-act structure. They break things down into very different segments and all that. They have a different things, how to control your pacing. That's why you feel like this seems like a Western theme, but also something's different. So yeah, it's something that's there in the original Japanese plays, what they did in the Sengoku era and all that. So it has a cultural influences, but they cater to a universal audience. That's something that you have to appeal. Like, I'm sure I'm seeing a lot of games at IGDC, and over here also many games are actually catering to an Indian audience, but you have to understand you have to cater your games to a global audience if you want to stand out on a global space. Yeah, it's okay to start small, and it is fine. It's just they look things at a grander picture. That's it.
I mean, the base argument that Japanese games are the best has been there forever. So the West versus the East, right? So it has been there forever, and I wouldn't say one is successful over the other, but I understand where you're coming from. Where Japanese developers are the most hardworking, I would say. Yeah, exactly. Even the latest Elden Ring, they put in so much content in it. Like, even after 100 hours, you have something to play in these games. And that is, that also plays in the fact that, the economies are very different compared to Japanese economy and US economy, where US is more about quality over quantity, and Japanese are more about, heavy gameplay influence, and they are more arcade driven because their culture has arcade. They kickstarted arcade when there was no industry to begin with, and even today the biggest consoles, Sony and Nintendo, are their home bases are there. So they know gaming way before it was a mainstream thing. They had to promote gaming in US. Sony had to have some. Microsoft came in way late, 2 generations late, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, but still Sony had at least one PlayStation that already launched. Yeah. Yeah. Then Microsoft jumped in. Yeah, so we still have 2 consoles that are driving their economy in Japan itself, right? So definitely, like they have built a culture of making games. At the same time, their anime culture, then the manga culture has kind of made them well known for art too in general, right? So yes, there is no argument that who's better, East or West, but I would say that the culture of overworking, the culture of skill, being the masters, right? Even their sushi, they have to master it for 10 years or something. So they have their culture. The mastering of skill is something that is baked into their culture, and that's the reason why they do everything. They approach everything with such craftsmanship.
If you publish a game to a Japanese thing and all that, and you say like, hey, play our game, the first thing is like, what happens when I press this button? Okay, I'm going to leave this and do this. What's going to happen? They care about the actual moment-to-moment interaction, what exactly happens when I do this, compared to most Western games like, this is the same third person this thing. What? Like, you do not pay much focus into that and all that. It's, as VK said, it's a huge cultural thing and all that. And also Kiroshi, it's good or bad. I prefer that's the sad part of it. If you guys are not familiar with it, Japanese have this extremely overworking cultural thing that's there in their society. Essentially, like, if you come back home at 6:30 in the night, your neighbors will mock at you. Look at him, he's coming back home so early, he's just slacking off. So it creates a societal pressure, and the sad part about it is there's a lot of suicide rates also in Japan. So because of this overworking culture, that drives your high quality stuff for sure, but at the cost of human lives. It's something that Japan is trying to fix, and I believe they are actually working towards it, and which is a good thing. But the quality of games hasn't dropped. They make sure that even though if things are jittery and weird, it is fun. Fun comes first. If you play Elden Ring, you see the sheer amount of times sword clips to the other person's head, there are a bunch of bugs where you fall through the map and you finish the game in 30 seconds. So like, there are all these errors and they're like, screw it, it's fun. So that is their primary sense of motivation. Most of Western studios are story-driven stuff because of Hollywood influences and all that. So add your cultural influences into it, but explore it to a worldwide audience.
He hasn't mentioned about the Korean games.
Korean games. Oh well, those are MOBAs and like the arcades, like they get stuck in the gaming zones. Yeah, that's like there's a saying in industry like if you think you're good at something, remember there's always a Korean who's better than you. Like scary people who are so good at their job, you'll actually be terrified. Like hands on, if you ever meet a Korean developer, no, he's miles better than you.
I mean, Seoul is the possible capital of the gaming in the future. That's what I feel like, actually. So maybe we can Google the games, play, and then have more opinions, about the Eastern games, maybe in the future.
Okay, guys, we are closing. We had a great,
You guys have any further
we'll open up the floor and we're here, we're offline, you can talk to us. I hope you had a good, informative session. I hope you understood a lot about gaming, career opportunities and how to convince your entire family. So, thank you for being a great audience.
Thanks for the invite for this lovely event, especially the gaming weekend, because it's one of a kind. Haven't heard something like this, and so I got to meet some of the amazing gaming startups and movers and shakers here. High energy, pretty good turnaround, and great concept to continue with. It was fantastic, and all the more. Largely because I happen to be here at E-Galleria Mall, which is like very very techno mall, and that also gives me I would like to congratulate, because it's not something easy for anybody to get tempted not to bring Shopper Stop and Lifestyle and all those kind of brands and focus only on the technology aspect, and the bringing only the brands, focusing on technology. And at the same time, I was there at T Hive, which is like, again, in you don't get to see these kind of places in a mall. So amazing concept, greatly executed, and I definitely wish them all the best to continue kicking some asses here. And at the same time, congratulations to the event organizers of the gaming weekend for pulling off this fantastic event in such a short amount of time. and that shows the power of Hyderabad ecosystem, because you just call and people are available. So yeah, congratulations, thank you very much.
I had a great time in this event. Hyderabad Gaming Weekend event was pretty amazing. Go Digital Now was the sponsor of this event, and they were very, very helpful with everything. We had a great time telling about game. We got great feedback. So our name of the game is Elemental. You guys have to play it. And once again, thanks a lot to Go Digital Now and also Hyderabad Gaming Weekend event. Thank you very much.
So we are here at Hyderabad Gaming weekend, and I think we are having a great time. A lot of people are actually completing our game. So we are showcasing Occult Chambers today and for the past 3 days, and we are having a good time. And thank you for Go Digital for
conducting this event, and we are very thankful for the organizers to have such a good event.
We're organizing the Hyderabad Gaming Weekend, and this is the first edition of the gaming weekend, and we have like amazing startups in the area of gaming here. It's a 3-day event filled with a lot of fun, entertainment and learning. This event consists of exhibition of games. It also has interesting panel discussions in the area of gaming, metaverse, AR, VR, and also an interesting series of pitches by startups to raise funding. So Go Digital Now is very proud to conceptualize and create a platform for gaming startups in the ecosystem, and this is the first edition of the gaming weekend. And Go Digital Now is a venture studio that helps startups from their 0 to 1 journey, and we are pretty much upbeat on the industry of gaming, and hence conceptualized the Hyderabad Gaming Weekend. And the idea is to create a platform for all the startups in the area of gaming in their journey, of course, and not just only in fundraising, but give them the mentoring, the services and required stuff for the startups to kind of become successful in their journey. So once again, I think welcome all to the weekend. This is a free event where people can come join, and learn from various gaming startups if you are a gaming enthusiast, and more importantly have fun. So thank you so much.
Hello, I am Praveen from Disobey. We are coming up with a new streetwear and sneaker brand through a game. So players need to play this game to win exclusive collectible items. And we really thank for Go Digital Now and eGalleria for giving us this opportunity to present over here. From last 2 days we got amazing traffic, and a lot of people visited our counter and downloaded our app and gave amazing feedback. This wouldn't have been possible if we ever did online. With this physical approach, we actually could record the expressions and the feedback, real-time feedback of the players. That really is a great feedback that we will take forward and improve our game. Thank you for the opportunity again.
I am a part of Hyderabad Gaming Weekend from the day one. I like the concept how they are supporting gaming startups and coming here and showcasing their old games. So I love that concept. So I supported in a lot. So I wish everyone, I wish that everything like this event happens regularly, every month, every week. I'll be happy to join anyone is doing like this. And second, this it is well executed event where everyone is like having a smooth good thing. There's no too much crowd, but there is not too less as well. It's a perfect balance. And I like to give a thank to Kashyap who organized it, Go Digital Now, and eGalleria Mall to give the space. And I want to wish thank you to my friend Sai Teja. He helped me to connect with these people, and thank you so much.
I'm here at the gaming weekend in Hyderabad at eGalleria Mall. Fantastic job done by Kashyap and the Go Digital Now team. Over the last 2 or 3 days have met some amazing startups building some amazing products here. Now I really understand why people say that Hyderabad is literally leading the wave to take India global. It has been an extreme pleasure by connecting with all these amazing minds here, the young folks who are literally defining the space of gaming. And yeah, I'm sure I'm going to be visiting here more and more and collaborating very closely with a lot of folks here. And yeah, looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Kashyap, for inviting me. It has been a pleasure.
This event was an amazing event, like Hyderabad Gaming Weekend, the first ever gaming weekend. It's a very big opportunity for small startups like us. I would like to thank Go Digital and eGalleria for giving us this opportunity. We have got a lot of feedback for our games, and also we were able to meet potential investors. I'm very happy to be part of this. Thank you very much.
We are working on a Desh VR, which is an Indian tourism-based metaverse, where you can have an explore to the different places, like a landmark like a Hyderabad, like Charminar, and also the most exhibited place and popular place in exhibition of Hyderabad is Nampalli. So where you can have a virtual walkthrough and have a virtual experience. And this weekend, the weekend which I had the gaming weekend, which make it like a cool experience, and we got exposed to a lot of users, and very then curious about knowing about our game, and has been seen how what we are doing for the future. And it has been a great weekend which is connected by the Go Digital now, and it has in the eGalleria Mall. This was a wonderful experience for us, and we with our team we had a lot of enjoyment, and we got a good response from them, and thank for this giving an opportunity.
Backstage Pass Institute of Gaming and Technology is a India #1 gaming college. We established that in 2010. We are offering 4-year duration bachelor courses, 2-year duration master course, 1-year duration advanced diploma courses in game art, game design, game programming, and AR/VR technology. We are completely with industry mentorship, and Backstage Pass is equipped with its in-house incubator level 2 games. Students are exploring their skill and doing all the experiments as part of their course to develop the games, to learn from the industry experts and all. And about this Hyderabad Gaming Weekend, thanks to the eGalleria Mall and Go Digital people to host this event. We are the educational sponsor for this event, and it's a good initiative, and it's really helpful to the startups and students and parents community to create the awareness about the industry, job prospects, etc.
హైదరాబాద్ గేమింగ్ ఈవెంట్ దగ్గర మా గేమ్ షోకేస్ చేసుకోవడానికి మాకు ఆపర్చునిటీ వచ్చింది. ఇట్ వాస్ సచ్ అ వండర్ఫుల్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్. 3 days చాలా బాగా వచ్చారు క్రౌడ్. వి గాట్ రియలీ గుడ్ ఫీడ్బ్యాక్. అండ్ సో మై కో ఫౌండర్ ధీరజ్ చెప్పు. సో దిస్ తనూజ్ ఆర్ లీడ్ యూనిటీ ప్రోగ్రామర్. This is Pawan, he's our 2D generalist. This is Raghu, our 3D generalist. And this is Sahas, he's our lead game design playtester. So Sahas, you have any words to say about the event?
The event was fun. Lots of people came. Lots of fun. All of these games are really nice. So more events like this have to be organized.
Super, thank you so much. So we have had a really positive experience. చాలా మందికి ఇలాంటి గేమింగ్ ఈవెంట్స్ చాలా ఇంకా కండక్ట్ చేస్తే మా లాంటి కొత్త స్టార్టప్స్కి చాలా హెల్ప్ అవుతుంటుంది. ఇట్స్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్పోజర్ అండ్ ఆల్సో లాట్ ఆఫ్ కమ్యూనికేటింగ్ అండ్ సోషలైజింగ్, నెట్వర్కింగ్ ఆల్సో చాలా బాగా హెల్ప్ అయింది. కొన్ని ఇండస్ట్రీ వెటరన్స్ రజత్ గారు, కపిల్ గారు వీళ్ళంతా కలిసి వాళ్ళ ఇన్సైట్స్ వినడం అంతా కూడా మాకు చాలా బాగుండింది. సో వీఆర్ మేకింగ్ అ గేమ్ కాల్డ్ ఓమ్ ద గేమ్, ఇన్స్పైర్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ అవర్ ఇండియన్ కల్చర్ అండ్ ద ఏన్షియంట్ స్క్రిప్చర్స్. సో ఇది చిన్నపిల్లల నుంచి పెద్దవాళ్ళందరికీ కూడా ఒక మంచి బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ టు యాక్చువల్లీ ఫన్ ప్లే. ఇట్స్ అ మల్టీప్లేయర్ గేమ్. ఒకరినొకరం మనం బెటర్ చదువుకుంటూ కాంప్లెక్స్ గేమ్ ప్లేతో పాటు సింపుల్గా ఉండే గేమ్ని కూడా మేము తయారు చేస్తున్నాము. దీని అంతటితో పాటు వీఆర్ ఆల్ కమింగ్ ఈ ఇయర్ ఎండ్ కల్లా మేము మీ దగ్గరికి రిలీజ్ చేయడానికి వస్తాము. ప్రస్తుతానికి కరెంట్ టెస్టింగ్లో ఉంది. సో గైజ్, ఓమ్ ద గేమ్, వీఆర్ కమింగ్.
It has been a wonderful opportunity given by eGalleria and Go Digital now, and we have been using it to the full extent. You know, a lot of people visited our stall out here, and it has been a very, very wonderful experience to see our fan base is growing and gamers are playing our game, liking it. I hope that they should focus more on such events in the future. And it would be lovely to part of events like this henceforth. Thank you.
we are experts of Unreal Engine. Okay, so we develop a lot of projects in Unreal. So we also do some clientele works. But yeah, our major focus is our own game called Tridasha. So the game is all about two brothers going on an adventure and trying to explore the mysterious island and how a siblings fights. That's what we want to show that in our game. So that's the simplest way I can say you about the whole story. But yeah, apart from that, there's also one of the unique selling point for especially for this game is like we are trying to connect the beliefs of the history of the India and trying to convert that into a gameplay. Okay, like you will just be a part of a journey of that belief, and that's what we want to focus on that in a very narrative way. No, actually, we will be. We are currently in a very early stage of POC. So we are developing our first public demo, and it will be live in next 6 months. We are trying to target IGDC 2023. So let's see. Let's hope for the best. So mostly the target people will be anyone who likes stories. Okay, and mainly from 18 to 25. That's the major target audience I have. Because a lot of over there, a lot of people love to explore the stories, and it will be having amazing mechanics and combat systems. It will also have some magical elements, so people love to fight with magic. Yeah, sure. I will just try to make you understand with the one situation. Okay, so in start you are going to find a stone called Antaryami. Okay, so Antaryami means inner witness. So how you achieve inner witness? By fighting inside within yourself. Okay, first you have to fight within yourself and try to capture your soul, try to control it. So in a game you will realize it, you are going to fight with the soul, and before you achieve the soul form you will try to we will make you understand how difficult to just winning your own soul. Okay, so once you achieve that, you can use your soul into any format at any combat, and it will be helping you in a very good way, and it will having some disadvantages as well because it's an RPG. There will be always pros and cons for everything, but yeah, that's what you will going to understand with the gameplay. I was lying down in a bed. Okay, I was in a bed rest for at least around a month or two. So I was in hospital and I got this idea like, why don't we make something related to an Indian beliefs? Okay. Personally, I'm an atheist, so no offense, I don't believe on God. Okay, but I wanted to showcase the stories of them in a very gamified way, and it should not be like very strict to any specific religion. It will be just a general thing, how you become a divine person or how you achieve that divine position in your life, right? So that's motivated me to start with the concept. Okay, then I was like, to make this concept, the story has to evolve within characters. Okay, and that's how I got 2 characters just for a reason, because when we have a siblings, right, we have the different connectivity with them. Like I fight with my sister a lot. Like there's no one night I didn't had a fight with her. So that fight is not, it's a friendly fight. It's not going to harm anyone, but we do it. Is the nature of us. So that nature I wanted to showcase in our game. Okay, and that will connect in an emotional level for the people, and as well as the beliefs is just the plus point. They will learn a few things by in a journey. Being very frank, no single person can make this big games. Okay, so we have a team of 6 people right now. Okay, coming from technical art, developers, artists, we have musicians. So recently we have the music as well, the music launch in this year, event only. So yeah, I'm very excited to share that as well. Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I want you guys to remember me. I'm Ronak Bagga, founder and CEO of Coolgen Interactives, and do follow us and wait for Tridasha. It is coming to your home.
The Hyderabad Gaming Weekend 2023 was an exciting gaming event that brought together gaming enthusiasts, startups, and industry professionals, providing a platform to showcase the latest advancements in gaming and foster collaboration within the gaming community. During the event, engaging panel discussions took place, where participants shared their insights and perspectives on various gaming-related topics.
Let's do this more of a interaction. Okay, I think the first session was with somebody like Rajat, obviously a lot of Gyan experience of the last decades. So this one, let's 20 plus, yeah. So now let's give it up for Kapil, the young sort of CEO from Meta Studios. Thank you once again. So after that awkward exit, that was a game that was, the plot was very different. So it was, right, so Kapil is back and, two versions, yeah, the version 2. So let's make this more interactive. I'm sure that, it won't be boring. So if it is, raise your hands and let's make it more gamified, okay? So Kapil, so firstly, journey, we'll get into all that. Why metaverse? Let's kind of ask Meta Studios, because आपके नाम में metaverse है, मतलब Meta Studios है. So in the context of metaverse, I think Rajat's previous thing was a detailed sort of history of metaverse and all that. But in your case, right, being a consultant at PwC and working in that space and building a practice in metaverse, for some of you who do not know PwC, it's a consulting firm. So yeah, so coming to Meta Studios as a CEO, right? That is transition. So for those who do not or not from the gaming industry, how many of you are not at all in the gaming space, like not connected to the gaming? Okay. So I think that question is very relevant because the future of everything is going to be on metaverse. So I think the last takeaway for me was like metaverse is going to be like a layer on top of Android, on top of everything, right? Like basically it's a layer. So with that, as a spirit, and Meta Studios is an interesting name. So you also run Meta Engine, right? So there are two companies. So tell us a little about the context of metaverse and how it is relevant to your vision at Meta Studios, and also a little more about for those who are not in the area of gaming and metaverse, including somebody like me. Primarily, I'm doing this because I support or evangelize anything futuristic, and I believe that metaverse definitely has scope. Though I'm not from the gaming world, I'm nothing to do with the gaming world, but I definitely am a tech evangelist. I've always, throughout my life, like always believed in things that are different. So when blockchain came to India, I probably was one of the first community, evangelist in Hyderabad. In 2017, we got Joe Lubin from, Consensus. So we did a lot of such things as part of very mad and crazy people and community that we have. And metaverse obviously is the present. It's not the future. And this came out of a conversation with Rajat. And our conversation also has been pretty recent this year, Jan at IIT Bombay. So a lot of passion and a lot of things are there. So over to you. I think what would it's such a long question, but how would you unfold it in terms of Meta Studios?
So I'll divide it in like 2 or 3 parts. One is like why metaverse, right? And there I think we have quite a few things in similar. Like you mentioned, like something new, something creative, something which is changing, that is something that you really connect with. I'm the same. Throughout my life, I have been a fan of creating something different. Whether it is a company, whether it is a song, whether it is writing a book, whether it is studying, anything that eventually leads to creation of something, knowledge, product, company, anything, right? Classic example. This is an example I always used to take back in the day when I was running a label. Releasing a song is literally like giving birth to a child. Right? You write a song on a blank paper, you start on a blank paper, then music starts adding to it, the first beat, the second beat, then it becomes a melody, then becomes a complete song, then it is sounding odd, so you do a mix and master, so it becomes a beautifully sounding song that you can jam on, that you enjoy. You have heard it 500 times because you have made it, but that becomes like, okay, this is special. Then it goes in the market, then people start listening to it. You see one person shaking his head on that song, that brings a smile on your face because it's like your creation. You created it and now people are enjoying it, right? That's literally a creator's journey. And this is the smallest example that you can take about creating anything, right? So that's who I am. Like I love creating, and that satisfaction of creating something and seeing the journey of it. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't work, part of the life, right? When it does not work, you learn something out of it and make sure that next time it does not happen. So always been a fan of creating something and enjoying that journey. And you know,
We are living in times of generative AI.
oh yeah.
So many AI tools, right?
Yeah.
Just as context, right?
Yeah.
Where do you stand as a company?
Oh yeah.
Also integrate a lot of generative AI stuff inside.
So we have started doing that very actively now. So we have our head of AI integration who takes care of integrating AI elements in our gaming engine. So taking a step back, we have our own gaming engine on which so far, like it has been in existence since 2001. So far more than 600 MMORPG games have been built using that engine. It supports multiplayer development. Imagine like 50 users building an environment together. Interoperability that we spoke about, we are really trying to get deeper into that aspect, and scalability. Like, you know, how you can host multiple, like, you know, hundreds and thousands of users in one single virtual server. So that's the gaming engine, and on top of it now we are adding a layer of Web3 integration. So if any game studio wants to build a game, you don't have to worry about the Web3 integrations of it, because this is something that we firmly believe in, that when you start making a game with tokenomics, with blockchain integration, with all these things in mind, you are really not giving it a life. You are just thinking about making it an economic model. Rather, it should be the other way around. Make a cool game that will that people will really enjoy, and then, of course, in that journey, transition to making it economically viable so that everybody makes money, and you also, as a developer, eventually ends up making money. So,
Quick question, because I think the economics and viability, right, of the game versus making the game itself, it's a very debatable thing, right? How many of you struggle to actually make a model to make money in the game? Is that the right context in terms of talking about? Because I think the high creative elements of the game itself are the thing. It's also monetizability, right? I think a lot of startups that probably you can ask them how hard it is to monetize their games.
yeah, exactly. So, okay, let's even start with that question. How many of you all think in this context that if I'm making a game, one is like, what is the first thing that you focus on? That what is my focus? The game should be fun and everybody should enjoy playing it. Or second, how do I create a economic model in the game? Which side of the table do you fall in? The first one, making a game fun that everybody should enjoy. Raise your hands. And the second one, that it should be economic model so that more and more people come, they make money, everybody makes money.
I think that also.
Yeah. Also, of course. Also, right? So, in the Web3 side of the world, many this Web3 games start from the second. Many. And that's why. Yeah, I mean, take classic. There's this game Star Atlas. It's on Solana. They have 38 or 36 blockchain engineers and 3 or 4 game designers. Blows your mind. Like, yeah, because they are like, we have to create. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's another fact. Like, even the parity in terms of payment. So what are you building? Right? Are you building a game or are you building an economic model? So, and that's why the adoption in the Web3 gaming is at a low right now. Because you will play a game when it is fun, right? So drawing that balance is very important. And that's the kind of ethos that we try to do. So as Meta Studios is the game development studio and the immersive experience development studio, so we make sure that we are building fun experiences that then we can, so that we don't have to worry about all these integrations that our engine and our infrastructure takes care of. So that's where we kind of come into picture. But I'm not sure if, because all of us raised 2 hands, that's why you guys did that. But I'm so glad to see that here, at least in this room, people are really focused on making fun games. Because that's what drives fun, right? That's what games are supposed to be. And most importantly, if the game is fun, if the game is engaging, it will end up making a lot of money. There can be 10,000 things that you can do to make sure that it makes money.
Now, again, critical question is, before you make money, paid puja chahiye. Like, you have to make some survival, right? A lot of startups, right? Let's talk about the early stage of 0 to 1, right? And it's nice to see that you have a model of services and product.
Yeah.
Now, many of the companies, maybe many of the startups, you should ask them, what are they doing to survive? So, also crafting a revenue model in the early stages
without kind of disturbing the ethos, disturbing the creativity and the game. How do you balance that? Right, that is a critical question.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think could be done, because you have an interesting model?
So, and that is precisely why we have these two focuses. When you are building a technology, when you are building an infrastructure, it takes time, right? When you are building a game, for example, game building takes time. Making cool game takes time. So how do you kind of divide everything that you are doing in your company in steps? And with each step, that should be like a milestone. So what we do, that is why we divided the business in two parts. The engine thing, the infrastructure piece, that's going to take like 8 months, 9 months, 10 months to kind of come it in its form. When it comes, it's going to be scalable, it's going to capture the market, but hopefully. But till then, how do you survive? Either you end up raising a lot of money from investors, that takes care of the bills, or you create a revenue generating model on the side. So if you are on that side of the table where you're able to raise money from the investors, fine, you're well taken care of, so you don't have to worry. You keep building what you're building. But if that does not happen, and it's fine, like in business, it happens many times that you're not able to raise money, but you have faith in what you are doing, so you want to keep building. That's when dividing each and everything. So you don't just step for the end goal, you divide everything in steps. You divide everything in milestones and take a call on यहाँ पे कैसे पैसे कमा सकते हैं. What can I do more instead of just building? Can I do something else also that can pay the bills? So those kind of strategic decisions, and it's gonna depend company to company, founder to founder, team to team, कि आप किस तरीके के काम, the projects you are doing which can give you a venue to kind of start making money in the journey.
One of my co-founders actually we do some side projects. So I think there is also sort of a misnomer. Like these side projects karna, it's a different thing. It's a deviation from the main kind of goal, right? So as an investor, again, it's a different thing. If somebody is doing a side thing, I don't know how you look at such a company, but survival is everything, right? So being in the game dev area as a game dev, right? How many of you are actually developers? Designers, how many of you are designers? Okay, and developers. So, and how many of you can actually be on any of the freelance platforms and make some extra money or making it, right? Good number. And why are the others not making it? So maybe
they're just not raising their hands.
Yeah, but do you think that is a good approach, given that a startup requires everything, right? A lot of focus. At the same time, you have to kind of build an alternative.
So there are two philosophies that exist in the startup world when you're creating anything, and there is no right and wrong about it. Philosophy number one is that old story that a team crossed the river, went on an island, burnt a boat. अब तो पूरा island capture करके वापस आएंगे. Only one approach. No matter what, we're gonna do this. चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, survival mode now, we're gonna keep it. So that's philosophy number one. That you keep focusing no matter what, you don't deviate, you don't have a plan B, there is only one plan. नवाजुद्दीन सिद्दीकी, like 10 साल लगे, 15 साल लगे, 20 साल लगे, चाहे कुछ ना हो, मैं एक्टर ही बन के जाऊंगा, right? Brilliant. Respect. Hustle. Takes a lot of guts to do that. The other approach is practical approach. Always have two plans. Right? ठीक है, build करना है, 100% करना है, but at the same time I have to take care of my family as well. Everybody has a different set of responsibilities. Everybody comes from different backgrounds, right? So then you have a plan B, the survival thing. You figure out, should I do something on the side as well to make money while I am still chasing my dream, right? So there is no right and wrong. Which category do I fall in? In different phases of my life, I have been in different sides of the table. So I don't advocate one over the other. When I had less responsibilities, I didn't have to take care of my family, I was all out. चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, like ठीक है, 5,000 a month, I'll still survive, fine, वड़ा पाव खा के रह लेंगे, लेकिन जो करना है वो करना है. When family comes and all those responsibilities come, you become more practical, then you hedge and you figure out what's the best way to kind of still chase your dreams, but have a stability, have some practical sense to it, that it pays your bills as well. Now again, if you are on two plan approach, right? Even in two plan, there are two ways to do about it. Number one, for example, let's take game building example. I want to build a game, I keep building a game, but to make money, I do something separate, some side hustle. Or second is, while I'm building this game, can I build it in a way that it also pays my bills maybe the development and the completion will be longer. Instead of 6 months, it may take 1 year, but I'll continue to do the same thing, but while making some sort of money. So all these things there is no right and wrong in this. Everybody will have a different philosophy, but everybody is in a different stage in your life. So my advice would be like, be really practical, take those calls, like which situation are you in and what is it that will allow you to be like move forward with the most sensible plot in mind.
Yeah, rightly said. So in the context of metaverse, given that people have to make a buck as well and do that, right? So what would you think are the top 3 or 4 or 5 opportunity areas in metaverse that people can kind of? So one is of course the long-term thing. Now somebody like a Brahman Studios, for example, okay, they build like a big game, and it takes time. It's not like some digital app ki humne kuch Me Too model bana diya na. So unlike any other startup area, it's gaming kind of thing, according to my kind of observation, is a long-term game. Game itself is long-term game. So you can't get an exit like doing a digital startup in like 3 days, and you can build literally an app in 3 days. We know it. We've done it. So 3 days you can build a front end, 3 days back end. But game, especially given the context of its huge back end, the computation, and depends on what you're doing. So there are 2 segments, right? One is casual games, and you've got to be either lucky or you should have like a very clever plot and do kick-ass marketing and all the clickbaits and all. Or you build a very traditional, huge game and a lot of messaging, a lot of building education on the characters, a lot of building is there. Now, in the context of what you said, right, NFTs, the blockchain, what could be the short-term sort of goals for startups in the area? Right? Every startup may not have that bandwidth to think of, say, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Right? On an average, I think it takes a certain amount of time for this domain to really kind of even raise money from investors. Right? Yeah. So, any alternatives or like top 3 areas or opportunities that you see?
Very difficult question, by the way. But I can share my thought process in when it comes to building anything, whether it is short term or long term. I'm a long term guy divided into short term, multiple short terms. Follow an approach which can get you associated with more and more people. If you have the numbers, you will have success. Game bana rahe hain, it's game building is going to take 6 months, 1 year. How can you have a model, or can you have a demo, or can you have anything built which allows you a feedback loop? I'm building a game, I think it's going to be awesome, it's going to change the world, but that's what I think.
That's exactly why we've done this event in first place, so that people like them can actually get it.
Yeah, so
you're proving it's validation for them.
So like my son is the best son in the world, no matter what, because it's my son, right? Like I gave birth, like he's my blood. No matter what, I'm gonna do whatever to make sure, like that he wins. But that's because he's my son. Can I say the same thing about somebody else's son? I will be very objective in analyzing and giving feedbacks about somebody else's son. The same thing. It's your game, your baby, your product. You will love it no matter what, because you are creating it. You have decided the story, you have done the coding, you have done the art. It looks amazing. Yeah, because it's yours. Take it out. So feedback loop, I call it feedback loop. Like your feedback loop should always be as short as possible. So create things that you can take out in the market, or take feedback from people, and that will keep giving you a realistic output in terms of, okay, am I going in the right direction? Do I need to change something else? Okay, now this is working, this is not working. Let's twist this, let's keep this. And using those models, because that allows you gain numbers. And if you have numbers, money comes. Chase the numbers. The money will come. And now in Web3, there is a reason it is known as creators economy, right? There can be like 100 models. I can't like really categorize 1, 2, or 3, because depending on the product, depending on the project, there's gonna be like different models that will work. But if you have the numbers, money comes. Dropping NFT collection. If you have a strong community, for example, people are raising millions because they have been able to create a community of people, right? So run behind numbers that can associate with you with more people. And most importantly, I can't emphasize on it so much, keep your feedback loop as short as possible. Don't go in the room and come out after 6 months building something. Hey, I built the best game in the world. No, the world has changed. World is changing every month. Create something and be live, be present, go out and talk to as many people as you can. Give demos to as many people as you can. Ronak told me he created the demo of his game in 10 days. I loved it. Very good. I'm not played your game, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing. I'm waiting forward. Yeah. But that's a good approach, right? Even in our company, we do it. Like we are talking to one of India's and I think globally biggest publishers, and we are looking at building a game together with them. But the approach that I'm following there is, I don't know are they going to sign a deal with me or not. It's till the papers are signed, till the money hits your account, the deal is still floating. So till then, how can you be practical? Can I, because it's the world's biggest publisher, should I put all my company resources, all my employees to do those things? No, I'm doing 10 projects at a time right now. Even though I have this one of the biggest deals on the table, I'm still doing 9 other deals, being practical. I'm going to them with a demo. I'm going to them with a game design document. My concepts, my everything is in place. If they say, this works, done, let's do it. Then again, 1 month later, again, there's going to be a meeting. Does this work? Yeah, let's do it. Does not work? Let's modify. Feedback loop. As a company which is funded, still I follow this approach because I'm a big believer of keeping your feedback loop in everything that you do as short as possible. That keeps you closer to the ground.
Excellent. I think that feedback loop is a very good insight. So in terms of, let's say, gaming, right, as an industry, I think we spoke that just a while ago that it's the best time perhaps. There's a positive investor sentiment, and despite the fact that most of the games may not have a monetizable plan. I think you ask like, what is your plan to monetize? They'll be like, हमने तो game बनाया है, अभी इसको कैसे बेचना है हमें नहीं पता. So, and a lot of them probably might struggle to get the numbers of it. I mean, they might need some mentoring or some sort of thing. But in the context of this, right, when you see gaming, it's a much bigger industry than music and film industry, as Rajat always says, and you also in fact made the statement last time. So gaming being this big, metaverse becoming more and more popular and being the present, right? What are the industry use cases and applications that you think beyond just the game? Some of them, for example, making a tourism metaverse, for example. He has a game too, and it is actually more like a Google Cut tour guide. So it's like it's more like a hybrid between a game and a real life application.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of such interventions. So in most of the cases, you might find that. Right? So any top areas that you think metaverse can kind of be a monetizable thing, while actually the original idea is a game. Right? For example, it might be a game, but you might see a metaverse space in that.
Yeah.
Even the current sentiment of it.
Oh no, absolutely. That's a brilliant point. To start with, everything that happens virtually is a game. Small, big, minor, gigantic. Everything that you're seeing and experiencing online is a game of one or the other sort. That's number one. Let's first of all address that. Second, the modifications to it that allows you to reach different sectors, different markets, which is the term which is coming out, gamification. Right? That is where we are seeing a lot of boom, lot of interest coming in now. What is gamification? Theoretically speaking, or rather, like if the definition, if I have to put, inserting gaming elements in non-game environments that gamifies it. Right now, for example, we are having this chat right now. This is a one-to-one chat. Now, if this becomes like a more, fun-driven exercise, that's like we have gamified an interview. Right? There are like, instead of just me talking to you, I do some or the other activity. That's like a fun-driven. I've gamified the environment. Very, very big example. Actually, it was a bad example. But this, for the traditional companies, now it's becoming a big go-go. Now, take an example of any traditional company like Samsung, for example, right? How have been they reaching out to their consumers so far? They come out with a product, they create a beautiful advertisement around it, take like some superstar in it and release it on the TV. That's how they, step number one, that's how they do it. Second, when social media became famous, they started doing activation campaigns on social media, then physical events, etc. Now how are they doing it? Now they're going on party night. That's where the crowd is. Now they are finding much more fun and engaging ways to connect with the youth of the country. That's gamification, right? Now, if anybody knows how to build games, and they also know how the real world operates, how these traditional brands, how these companies want to connect to their consumer, you can become a bridge to that. And there's a huge demand for people like this who understand both sides of the things, right? Hardcore gamer, brilliant. Like
Very excellent point. Very well articulated.
yeah, you have to, the bridge.
The real world businesses and a medium to kind of enter that, right?
Yeah, because who pays? Who pays money? Yeah, that's a brilliant example. So many brands, like 200 brands are working with Rajat right now. There is a reason, right? Rajat has been able to put these traditional brands in a fun environment. People like to have fun. If there is a fun engagement happening, if there is an environment where there is fun. We are sitting here. I hope you are finding this conversation interesting. That is why you are sitting here. If it was boring, you would have left by now, right? So, how can you engage with the people? And any brand who has money, brands. If you build games, who's going to fund it? Who's going to pay for it? Some or the other brand. Right? Not me. I'm gonna buy a game of like $1,000, but somebody will have to pay for the whole bill. Game development is an expensive exercise, right? Who's gonna do it? Some or the other brand, right? So because they have the money, so getting closer to people who have the money in the most productive manner. And I always put it in two baskets. One is a proper core game development that in itself is one of the best things to be done. But if you have to connect it with the traditional side of things and using your game development skills, then gamification is the answer, because you become a bridge between the hardcore game development and the brands who want to reach out to their consumers. Again, coming to my point, numbers. How do you reach more people? If you are able to connect more people, you make money.
Also, yeah, I mean, excellent way of looking at it. So if there are some startups, right, that or games that essentially are in Web 2, we were just chatting, and that probably will see better light in Web 3 environment, right? Where there's a better scope, for example, to sell NFTs or to have more monetizable options. Not forcibly do it. So he was actually, he was saying Brahman Studios can also see a Web 3, So in case there is such thing, right? What kind of resources in terms of technology? Because making in Web 2 is relatively different, making a same thing in Web 3.
Yeah.
So how do you see such a, what could be the changes?
Yeah. I'm a firm believer of taking gradual steps. If you are in Web 2, you have made an amazing game, don't directly jump to Web 3. You have a game development team, hire one person or get one person to consult you that okay, this is the game, अब इसमें क्या-क्या next changes कर सकते हैं, which opens the door to monetize it. You have like it's a battle game, so you have swords, you have this thing. So now if you have the users, can I sell these swords as NFTs? Right now, if I have sell it, why should somebody buy my NFTs? You provide some utility to it. Baby steps. So that is why somebody asks me, like, I'm a firm believer of Web 2.5. Not directly jumping into the whole Web 3 element, but again taking it gradual, because then the numbers are important. Ultimately, people are gonna play the game. Ultimately, school-going kids, college-going kids, they are gonna play the maximum amount of games. Right? So the more simpler you keep it for them, the better the chances of mass adoption. So if you directly switch to Web 3, your audience becomes Web 3, which currently is comparatively lesser. There is the biggest number of people sitting in the Web 2 world. So if you, like Rajat put it, right, you will be operating in the metaverse without even knowing that you are operating in the metaverse, because that will be the underlying foundation of it. That's the right way to put it. Your game, if you don't even realize that it's a Web 3 game while playing, but it is still like the backend, you have taken care of it so nicely that okay, I don't even realize it's a Web 3 game. I'm making money, I'm playing, I'm having fun, everything is being taken care of. That's the success. But that does not happen like this. Take some steps. Like how gradually you transfer your game and adding more elements to it, building some community around it, building some NFT elements to it, putting whatever parts are required to be put on blockchain. First of all, does it even require to be on blockchain? Just because Web3 is so buzzing does not mean that you have to create something in Web3. No. If already it is so cool, then why do you need Web3? Don't put it on Web3. But some elements, because Web3 provides you with a lot of more flexibility, a lot of more, that there's a reason it is known as a creator economy, because it opens doors for many things. So put those pieces there and then see how it is working out, and then take the next step. That's very important. So slowly and steadily, one step at a time, not completely transitioning, because then again the whole debate that we were having, it becomes an economic focus instead of a game focus. Keep it a game, add economic elements to it. And that will take it to the next level.
Yeah, I think what we've done for this game expo, right, is so there are some parameters that every game has, like the environment, the gameplay. We made some sort of interesting parameters, and the feedback loop, right, for each of the games. are there any techniques or ways in which you can get a feedback in a very good way?
Oh yeah, amazing. Good.
Of course, there is Discord and other communities, but what are some hacks and growth hacks where not just the feedback, but also a very constructive critic, right? Where you can probably get elements like, okay, maybe I should add something like this on top. I think the success primarily depends on how quickly you are making that pivot.
Yeah.
And if it is already good, it is okay. If it's not, then you have to take a call.
Yeah, I mean that's the simplest part actually. You get to know, like if somebody is sitting and playing your game for more than 15 minutes and they have a big smile on their face, you're doing something right. As simple as that. Even if it is new, nobody has known about it. I am not playing Call of Duty because the entire world is playing Call of Duty. Right? So sorry, like most of the people play Call of Duty because the entire world is playing Call of Duty, and that's when they get introduced to it, and then they fall in love with it, right? Because there's a huge billions of dollars spent on marketing and everything. That's when, but we buy it because it's a big thing coming out. But your game, you built it, you came out of your room, you came out of your development studio, and somebody's playing it for the first time. Nobody knows you, nobody knows your game, but they have a huge smile on their face when they're playing it. They're engaged, they're asking you 10 questions. That means you've done a good job. If they leave your booth in 5 minutes, that means you've done a bad job. Sit with them, grab them, take them for a coffee, do whatever, take feedbacks. What went wrong, and spending time with the right set of people. That's important. I think this is very important. Build something, go out, spend time with people, be in every community, every Discord, every Telegram channel where people discuss games. Keep sharing it with them. And like, of course, and try to spend as much time in person with people, because ultimately you make games for humans. It's a tech product, it's an online virtual thing, but humans are going to use it. How their emotions, how they respond to your games, that's important. You need to study that. That's very important. That does not happen way too much in virtual world. You have to do that, like virtually share it. You can't be everywhere. It's important. But I'm a firm believer of these kind of things. If you have to be as much as you can do in person, because you can study. Ultimately, just keep this in mind. Whatever you are making it for real people. So the people connect, understanding people, what brings smile on their face, what immediately drop the focus, where did you lose them, was the game too difficult, was the game too easy, was it engaging. I was recently in Singapore this whole week for a Web3 gaming conference by Google and Jump. There, the games that had come, they have been building since last 2 years, 3 years, and then they did this whole demo of the games. Every gaming booth, because of course it was Google, they called only the best ones. Every game that you played, people were hooked onto them for half an hour, 1 hour. They were not getting up. They got up because they wanted to move to the next booth.
I use the right word, hooked. Right? So how many of you find it extremely hard to make something that's hooked? Like how many of you feel that you already arrived there?
How do you judge that somebody is hooked or not? First of all, that's important. They completed the whole mission, and then, but again, so I will just like respectfully add another layer to it. They completed the whole mission, but while they were playing, again, judging these things are very important, because people usually want to be nice. Anybody who will come to your booth, they'll say, "Hey, I loved it, very good job." Nobody's gonna say, "Hey, shitty game." No, why would they say it? They're meeting you for the first time, right? And if they're giving that time, they will play. But while they are playing, judging, spending time with them, sitting next to them, what do you think, explaining them the game, asking them questions while they are playing, that's very important. Reading each and every minute of how they are spending their time on your game, that's very important. That's judging, and that's how you get to know like whether they were hooked or not hooked. Taking that extra effort by sitting with them when they are playing, and spend as much time after you have played, spend as much time as you can with strangers. People who know you, they will be nice. Go out, find new people to kind of spend time with and making them play your game. And especially people who are going to be like really honest, and strangers, that they can, you can judge them a little because of their body language and everything. That's going to be very important.
So, any kind of synergies that you see with these startups, or as such in metaverse, right? So, anything that you see can be done. If you have some ideas, let's kind of brainstorm and probably go to people.
I would rather like to
3 things that you have in mind in terms of talent, in terms of synergies or strategic partnerships. Like when you call yourself a meta studio, right? Like you have a host of metaverse things, I assume.
Yeah.
So what are some synergies that you think can be explored?
So I would rather like to put it the other way around. What do you guys think? Right? Because we had this chat and I'm really keen, right? Rather like let's trying to make it interesting, right? Starting with you, because you mentioned like game studios came. What's your plan to kind of take it to the next step? How do you see that happening, and what kind of partnerships do you have in mind? to take your game to the next step. That answers.
It's a very interesting way of putting it.
Exactly. And that answers the question that we are talking about, right? You didn't need anybody else to tell you this thing. You figured it out while playing more people, playing it and understanding what's working, what's not working. That's exactly the key. The more time you spend on this, you figure out these hacks. Other people, when they come and advise you, that is why the term is advise. They advise you. They can enhance what you are doing, right? But the heavy lifting has to be done by you, right? So this is, I think this answers. I don't want to spend more time on it because this has been a beautiful example from the people themselves. Yeah, I mean,
More like culture, tourism.
exactly. So
What is it? So,
Ministry of Culture or anything. But one thing that I would like to add a flavor to that is you are taking the traditional approach, like telling people how traditionally Hampi used to be, right? That's what you want to do. Exactly. How does people want to see it on ground? What's the research that you have done on that? No, my question is, do people want to see the traditional Hampi? How? How do you know? No. So, sorry, let me rephrase my point. What you have done is brilliant. Of course, like Hampi has always had a traditional beauty. Would I want to go and experience that ecosystem? 100% yes, right? But I'm saying that this, again, you're making this product because you wanted to build it, and like, what was the reason behind, or let me rephrase it again. What was the reason behind choosing this to be built, like showing traditional Hampi to the people of today? What sparked this? Okay, and how do you plan to make money out of this? Virtual tourism. Why virtual tourism? And virtual tourism not to the current Hampi but the traditional Hampi. How many people? How many people do you think? How many people visit Hampi every year physically? And how many people do you think will visit it virtually? Architectures. Go ahead, continue. Sorry, please continue. I was just here. Got it. So yeah. So who can give you access to this? Who's going to be most interested in making sure that people visit the traditional Hampi? Yeah, schools, right? But who will be most interested that the traditional Hampi gets highlighted to the people of today? Who will benefit the most out of it if that happens? Students will learn, but who will benefit? Who's at government? Yeah, right. So you got the 4 partners that you have to focus on. Yeah, sorry.
the F&B guys and the hotels around Hampi also.
Yeah, that if you are able to capture these 4, these are the 4 doors that you have to knock on, and you yourself gave the answer. That is, please, my apologies, I was drilling it because I wanted to get the answer from you itself. These are the 4 doors that you have to knock. You knock these doors, make sure you build an amazing product that can make them happy because they are gonna win. Ultimately, as a product developer, you win if the person who's gonna use the product wins. So you have to step yourself in their shoes, right? So who do you have to make win? Them, these 4, not yourself. I'm not making the traditional Hampi because I want the world to see traditional Hampi. No. Nobody, it does not matter what I think. I am making traditional Hampi because these 4 bodies would benefit if traditional Hampi gets highlighted and gets viral. So these are the 4 doors you have to knock with this narrative that you just explained. And if you get them, and because they will then make sure that it becomes like a popular thing, you will get users. And if you have users, the industries will come who will pay all the bills. So this is like the same. That is why I did. Yeah, that is why I wanted to do this exercise, drilling down, because every product that you make, just keep drilling this. You will have your own answers.
Great. So you highlighted the role of community. Let's wrap it up by actually saying, maybe kind of pledging on how we can build a better community methods. While I think there are many that Rajat may be part of, but being in Hyderabad or any other city, right, even Bangalore, for example, I think there needs to be a lot of folks, right? Every startup here, they might be part of an incubator at STPI or the Image Tower, but I think still idea validation, accelerating, getting this exercise and drilling well, it will be much faster at a rocket speed if there is a community. And there's a regular sort of, not just talking shit and going on, but I think an actionable sort of steering things. If, for example, maybe after the second month, there has to be a review on like where they've gone. It could be interesting correcting of jobs. As you rightly said, 2 months later, I think the industry may kind of be in a different place. And your model also, you might find better partners in different domains.
Yeah.
So Abhi ka jo assumption and all that, today it might look good. So we have to be so fast, right? It's all speed and so what is any specific sort of commitment as Meta Studio?
Oh,
Build a metaverse community.
as Meta Studios and as Couple, 100% committed. Anything. But again, before even I answer that question, I want to take a step back so to kind of make sense to what I'm going to say. Community building, right? What is community? If I can ask you, anybody, just raise your hands. What do you understand by community? Okay. What is the purpose of building a community? The reason I ask this question is majority, and this is how majority of the people perceive communities as one-to-many approach. I built a community for this purpose. Let's say Meta Studios built a community. Why will Meta Studios build a community? So that tomorrow I can benefit from the community I made, and that is why I will invest, and that is gonna be in my favor. So that's the purpose of, let's say, Couple will build a community for Meta Studios because I want to benefit something out of it. But this becomes one-to-many. This is not the typical community. This is a business marketing. This is real community. Yeah, this is real community, not one-to-many. Many to many. When any group is created with this ethos, that in this group we will achieve something which benefits everyone. Not if Couple is creating a community, I will build a story that everybody gets something, but eventually I get the most. That's not a community, that's business. People do it. I'm also part of many of these communities. It exists. It's fine. Everybody goes somewhere. If I'm investing my time, I want to win something out of it. It's fine. But I'm not going to call it a community. I'm going to just call it to be a part of a network to achieve something. If we have to build a community, who are we again? Taking a community is what? Bringing people together. Who are people? How has human civilization survived so far? How has people grown? How have we evolved? By growing together. The world has moved forward because everybody has moved forward. Right? So that's the real community, when if you can create a group, bring a group of people together in a manner that everybody gets something out of it. Everybody benefits, right? And that's why I particularly personally love Web3. Most of the people that you will meet here, they are more than happy to connect you with anyone. Because if everybody wins, Web3 wins, right? But again, Web3 this has become famous because it was a new industry and everything, right? But at the end of the day, that's human ethos, right? As good people, we get I'm from North, and this is what me and Rajat were talking. We like in Delhi, people are very this thing. You find this thing, let's connect. Come on, you need something, let's connect. It's similar. I don't want a 2% commission because I connected you to Ashok. Ashok is a builder, a publisher. You are building a game. I'll connect. Okay, deal happens. I'll tell Ashok, give me 2%. Sometimes make money, fine, it's okay, but that's not how things work. That's not how a community grow, right? So first of all, the most important is accepting that fundamental, that we are building a community, we are building a group with this purpose that everybody wins. If everybody wins, then everybody wins, right? I don't have a conclusion. I was thinking I'll have a mic drop conclusion to it, but everybody wins, then everybody wins. Then what the hell? Come on. And it won't survive, trust me. How many communities have we seen building and being fizzling out? Many, because of this very reason. Unless why in Web3 games, how does that take connecting it with the whole economic model angle, right? How Web3 games make money? What is the game publisher or game developer thinking? Is the game developer, the moment game developer starts thinking कि मेरे पास ज़्यादा token रहेंगे मैं बनाऊंगा and everything, slowly and steadily the game starts moving out. But the moment they think I make a strong group of people and keep rewarding them in a manner that they want to keep playing. So I, as a game developer, start thinking for my gamers कि मैं इनको और क्या दूं, right? So that everybody, each one of them also start connecting with each other and everything. Those are the kind of games that succeed. The same ethos. Like you rightly said, I agree with it. The value system, that has to be very correct. And if everybody starts, and this is a thought that I love to patronize because I'm a firm believer of that we should really be happy to support each other. In any manner, in any capacity, हर किसी की capacity, हर किसी की position अलग होती है. But in whichever position you are in, trust me, everybody can support everybody. If that happens, and with that value system, if we create a group, then the success is going to be manifold. More and more people will want to be a part of it. More and more people will win out of it, and everybody will succeed.
The Hyderabad Gaming Weekend 2023 was an exciting gaming event that brought together gaming enthusiasts, startups, and industry professionals, providing a platform to showcase the latest advancements in gaming and foster collaboration within the gaming community. During the event, engaging panel discussions took place, where participants shared their insights and perspectives on various gaming-related topics.
First, I want to say thank you, Kashyap, to give me this opportunity. And as I was into the gaming industry, I always fascinate about metaverse. And I think today is the best time to introduce in a very normal language so that people will understand. So before that, we continue. I want to call upon Rajat Oja, CEO and founder of Gametronics. So Rajat, before we continue, I just want to set up some ground. So for that, I want you to explain about what is metaverse in a very general perspective so that everyone can understand.
Before that, I'll take the liberty of explaining Hyderabad to people who are ignorant, right? So Hyderabad is the most thriving ecosystem there can be, right from the government level. When we started Metaverse, I'll come to that. The second client I had was the Telangana government. When did you see that, a government taking, plunge into something which is so new and so this thing, and so very forward thinking. And when I made Hyderabad my home, there was a reason. Hyderabad was the capital and it still is almost the capital of, the game industry in India. Of course, DSK happened in Pune and that stole some, shine from us, but Hyderabad is awesome. Coming back to what is metaverse, right? So the question, but Hyderabad is super awesome. Right from colleges to the government, to the companies, to these ecosystem, to T-Hub, to people like STPI Image Tower and dedicated Image Tower and everything. So let me sell Hyderabad first, so it is done. So now coming to the most interesting thing, what is metaverse? Too much confusion? Even developers, they are confused, or they sell the confusion because that makes the whole world go round, because it's easy to raise fund when you start calling something as metaverse. It's easy to go out and say that you are metaverse hero because it's easy. So we also have our own definition, just like everybody has. The only thing is we are not out there to raise fund, and we are not we actually sit at the other side largely. But so our thesis is very simple. People call immersive world as metaverse, right? Gamers are living in that world forever, right? Even if you talk about social immersive world, Second Life has been around for ages, right? 2003 August onwards, right? So that's also done. Even if you say immersive world where you can do certain activities, and then there is a lot of social interaction. Even Call of Duty and other games you can actually talk, like Counter-Strike also. Like you're meeting people, you are in an immersive world. For me, immersive world again, and then people started selling their old dabbas in the name of metaverse with their VR headsets. Put in VR headset, it's metaverse. Like, come on guys. If that is metaverse, that was there since 2006. They're pulling out all their old junk, and bringing it back in the name of metaverses and saying, see, here it is. We made those kind of things in 2006 with Vuzix headset, where we actually delivered to, defense forces. And I was talking to Colonel here, and I said, we have simulated every single weapon Indian Army uses, every single tank, not every single, but T-72, T-90, BMP, ICVs and all. We've done. So then what is the missing element? What is, so we have covered the social interaction part, we have covered the immersive world, we have covered VR. All these things they don't define metaverse. For us, metaverse is when there is economy in the center of everything, and the interoperability, which we keep on saying, decentralization part of your assets. Imagine your Hello game, but can you take your gun around in other games and stuff? So it should be on a layer, it should be on a chain where you can actually, it should be It's again, we are not there yet, but everybody, whoever is part of some part of the, I'm in the board of World Metaverse Forum, where we are trying to define what is the right definition, and this is the current accepted this thing, economy. And when KPMGs and people like KPMG, they come, KPMG, Accenture, and lovely PwCs and Deloittes of the world, they come and they say people are going to spend 4 hours in metaverse, right? In next few years. What are they going to do? Why are they coming? Are they coming for just the assets, just for immersive world experiences, just for this thing? No. Immersive world experiences just for this thing? No. They're gonna live in there, right? And why are they going to live in there? Because that's the place where they're going to make money also and spend their money and earning also. It's the Instagram, how you see like kids, they live in there, right? And there are people who are creating reels, right? They make a lot of money for buying things. They go out the Instagram. Now Instagram shop is also there, is a thing. But they go out, go to their Mintras and Flipkarts and all these guys, and then they do it, right? While in a true metaverse, and we are working with some of the largest possible player in this domain, where we are bringing both the options of earning and burning there, will probably unfold, because I don't want to answer this question in such a long way. So, very simply, social immersive world where our assets are interoperable, and at the same time it's completely decentralized, as we say, and economy is in the center of it. When we actually have our trailer, the biggest font and the biggest thing what we throw on people's faces is economy, right? वो नहीं है तो सब बकवास है, ना कोई नहीं आने वाला, ना कोई टिकने वाला, आके निकल जाने वाले हैं सब, ठीक है? एंड मैं उस जगह 4 घंटे तभी निकालूंगा जब मैं वहां पर जी सकूं. जीने का तरीका वही है कि वहां पर मैं कमा भी सकूं और उड़ा भी सकूं. And that's what is happening. This is what metaverse is for me.
Even I was imagining something else. So yeah, yes, definitely. Yeah, we can come up with even 50 or more. Everyone have 2 or 3 definitions for that. Yeah, and also I want to highlight one of the thing, like you supported Hyderabad, right? I'm from Hyderabad. Hyderabad made me a game developer. Hyderabad made me a founder. So I'm very glad to Backstage Pass. I'm passed out from Backstage Pass. I was in Hyderabad, and I started my first gaming company here. So Hyderabad is a good place and good ecosystem where I can meet people and get mentors. So definitely, guys, Hyderabad is not a bad place to start on. So moving ahead, I wanted to ask you a personal journey, how you came up to a metaverse from a gaming industry. Okay, I want to just have a quick snaps of that.
Quick news. So yeah, I'm in the industry for 28 years now. I've been making video games. I still don't see metaverse different from video games and all. So I'm still continuing that journey. I'm not branching out or anything like that. So I started. So some of the games you guys, I don't know if you're aware, and some of the games I have IPs of Prince of Persia, Resident Evil, Battlefield, Splinter Cell, Asura's Wrath. My names on it in various forms and factors. I worked with Jordan Mechner for Prince of Persia in the earliest days of Prince of Persia, and very closely associated. So I have been making games. I own the theme park and arcade rights of all the games I named already. So I'm like the global. Even Capcom wants to do it, they cannot. They have to come to me for. And I built a video game theme park in Dubai called Hub Zero, which actually got nominated for Brass Ring Award, which is the Academy Awards of theme park also. So that's a long story. But yeah, so I've been doing this, and other than that, I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2012 in the US. So most of my time was, of course, there. Then only you can work on these kind of titles and stuff. Briefly for a year in Belgium. But yeah, so in 2012, I decided to get into the before that also, like while operating out of there, we built India's first PlayStation 3 games back in those days, called SNS, which reached worldwide top 10 charts also on PlayStation. Surprising, because it was kind of a Lagan movement for us, because the game was completely done here in Hyderabad. People who never made games forget about making console game, and that too on PS3, which used to, that architecture of PS3 suck. A big time. So we did that, and in 2012 I started my company, today we have presence everywhere. How metaverse happened in 2014? Again, the wrong definition of metaverse, as people say. When we were doing a lot of, I started another vertical within my company called Games for, which now is a dedicated thing and all, but where we were doing for businesses. Like Games for is like games for banks, games for hotels, games for hospitality, games for this, games for that, all corporate level games, basically for training purposes. So one of the leading private sector bank reached out to us, and then the same thing we did for Microsoft as well, where 5,000 people were in the single room, and 3 of the CEO and ex-CEO of Microsoft were talking to them. Same thing happened with ICICI Bank also. So if you were still saying that immersive world where people can come and people can talk, another thing, we did it in 2014, right? And we did that, but when we were doing other IPs, another IP we did is SGS, which is the virtual, it's a pre-alpha right now. It's a virtual reality game. It's on Steam. We are going to launch it very soon on all the platforms possible. So now, especially now, quick, because he mentioned quick, so so we brought it back to life in 2020 before pandemic happened. We wanted to get into the Web3 space because we were like a believer of that, especially understanding from different games and success stories and stuff. And we built our own chain instead of going after any existing chain and stuff. First step was building our own chain. The second thing is building the game layer on top of that. And all the successful metaverses right now, be it UEFN, which is now getting into the true sense of metaverse also, you can always see that their genesis is games, right? Fortnite is a game, and that gives the reason for people to keep coming back. So I'm still continuing that journey, so, and it's been awesome. If I've spent 28 years in one industry, I'm pretty sure it's a great industry. Otherwise I get bored very quickly and easily.
That's amazing, actually. So actually, I also wanted to your perspective to the policies metaverse needs, especially with how the government is going to tackle this, because like that's one of the questions I always have in my mind. Today, I think I got an opportunity.
Yeah, a lot of. In fact, I have been interviewed. I think maximum number of times this question has come up in all my interviews globally or whatever. Even on the TV is always like they are like how the government is going to handle. Like so. Again, it needs to be that big that government takes it seriously, So it's not even, like there is this Biper Joy is coming somewhere, Bipar Joy, Biper Joy, however you want to call it, I don't know. Then there is election coming, all these things are coming. It's such a minuscule thing for the government to even bother about. At this moment is unfortunate, but the thing is, crypto and other things, government will definitely, come with, their regulations very quickly because it creates the alternate governance, right? Government hates to share power, right? And if you give power to the public, the government power is gone, right? So they don't like it. So first thing, crypto maro, done. Unfortunate thing is most of the people think Web3, blockchain, crypto are the same thing. Crypto is a use case of that thing, So people have a different, again, a lot of confusion is created by developers also. Forget about, in the community. So government is right now it's taking the only steps government is taking is because Daler Paji कपिल शर्मा शो पे चले गए और हमारे नंबर जाके बोल दिया उन्होंने कि हाउ मच वी मेड मनी. नेक्स्ट डे द गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट वाज सिटिंग इन माय ऑफिस आस्किंग पैसा कहाँ है, but the thing is that there is just like we spoke about 50 different definitions of something. How do you regulate something which has different definitions? But we are working closely, and especially our Twaga, which is a very active forum we have in Hyderabad, and we are working with different kind of policy makers, just like we have policies for our animation industry and other thing. We are figuring out how we can do that in the blockchain and Web3 space also. In fact, from what I'm seeing is that we are getting tremendous amount of support. I will talk about the regulation, but support wise, when ISRO wanted to do something, they came to us immediately, and like we want to make ISRO cool. right? And especially for kids and all those things. And that has been my pitch. One of the theme park we are making in Bangalore is with ISRO, right? And my problem is always that in India also people wear NASA t-shirts. You know, you ask someone, I want to be astronaut. Oh, really? Okay, what's your goal? Oh, NASA. Like, why? You know, ISRO has 85% success rate compared to 63% success rate of NASA, but NASA has done way too many things. So if we are talking about it in terms of percentage, we have a great success rate, technically speaking. So yes, so there has been amazing things. So I think there has been support at one hand. The second side is the NFTs and all those things, because there is a lot of crypto part associated, which I think will take its own sweet amount of time, especially just like online gaming and other things are being regulated. The similar kind of regulations will come. Bigger problem, and the number one problem for me is how people actually treat each other there. You know, all the kind of issues like, you know, like Facebook came up with their capsule system, you know, to protect, you know, harassment kind of a thing and stuff like that. So I think, you know, there has to be some onus is on us at this moment to make it a safer place. Government will not come and regulate this anytime soon. Government will definitely regulate things happening on the NFT front and crypto front, but rest of the things, onus is on developer to make it a safer, good, happy place so people come and spend time. I'm a metaverse guy, not necessarily a crypto guy, so I will not even go down that path. So metaverse is a safe place, and we need to make it a safe place, and we are providing a safe place for people to come and enjoy.
I think I agree you more on the path of where everyone has to take the responsibility to make it safe. Because even as a gamer, we used to do online gaming, and there's a lot of toxic gamers around the world. So yeah, nobody can stop that, because it's public. People will, if they have the mouth, they will speak. So it's all about We
do KYC when we think the content is sensitive. We had a Daru Adda in one of the events and stuff. So we did, we did KYCs for people coming in, because even though you're having digital Daru, we didn't want you to have that, and we didn't want you to patronize that. When we did Telangana event and ISRO event and all those, every single person had an invite. It was an invite only. So all the checks and other things were done before that itself. And metaverse is much more open than closed events. We are not an event platform. Events happen. You know, people are, even when you go there, you will see people visiting, talking to each other and all those things. So we are like Chalta Firta Facebook, Chalta Firta Tinder, Chalta Firta LinkedIn, however you want to use it. So again, there will be a lot of AI use cases. People say, oh, suddenly all the metaverse guys moved to AI. No. We didn't move to AI. We are using AI to complement whatever we are doing. You know, and to enable things where whatever you are talking, can I actually censor if I want to? Whatever you are texting, can I censor that? If you are putting all those kind of things, can I make your KYC digital? Can I make it? Even the creation of the world, we recently released a tool called Brahmand. Right, so in Brahmand, you can just with a text prompt, you can get the 3D world the way you want. And there has been a lot of news about it and stuff, Money Control and ET Times and all these guys actually covered it. It's still accessible only to people like Atkins and Bangalore Airport and some guys, you know. We haven't openly give it out to everyone, but in October we are handing out to the public. So you want to build your store, you can build the way you want. But there will be a lot of other AI filtering the content which will go there.
Perfect. I think this is too much of knowledge. So, so actually, I wanted to specify a very specific use case of metaverse, like working in collaboration. Okay, like what do you think? What's the future of it, and how is going to expand in its own?
That's a very simple, easy, immediate use case of metaverse working in collaboration. We learned it, you know, with Zoom, Meet, and all those things, and people like we had been using Discord, you know, for our internal meetings and everything, you know. People share streams, and you know, that's our everyday review meeting tool. Also, we have people across the world working with us, you know, and Discord is the so. That is already happening in one format, right? Passing it on it to the avatar systems and all those kind of other things, you know. There has to be. So there is a reason why you'll be doing it. Are you guys aware of Skyroot? Shame on you guys. So come on, like, India's the first private sector rocket which actually hit the space, came from Hyderabad. Pawan, right? Amazing guys. I love them. I love what they're doing. Imagine they're working in collaboration, right? They have 10 scientists sitting in America, 15 scientists sitting in Hyderabad, 5 scientists in Bangalore, 2 scientists in Bombay, and so on and so forth. Now they want to discuss the thruster systems or something like that. There is no other better way than immersive world. I'm not getting into the metaverse per se, because I'm going to the Facebook's horizon definition of metaverse right now. You bring the whole system right here, possible with video format or PPT format or format. So working in collaboration in these kind of scenarios is absolutely no brainer. I still don't call it a true metaverse because of my definitions and stuff like that. And soon the world is also kind of differing, more. I have seen your platform just now, pretty brilliant stuff. That is actually fit into my definition, where people are coming, creating, building on their own, running on its own. That is the power of that thing, interoperable chain where things are moving back and forth without your interference. There is no authority on that, permissionless environment kind of. So these are like complicated words to confuse the people sitting here. But going back to that still fits into my thing. But yes, working in collaboration in all those kind of things. If I want to discuss any master plan, even tactical forces tomorrow, they can bring all the kernels, all the Faujis from different places and stuff, and they can actually do the tactical planning right here itself. There is no better way to do the tactical planning than in an immersive world, where multiplayer immersive social world basically. So yeah, so it's definitely it's absolutely no brainer. Like, you're gonna see more and more use cases. I still don't buy my Mark Zuckerberg's solution, but still, thank you.
Yes, definitely. Even I work in Unreal, so even I work in a 3D like collaboration way, and it's amazing. It's one of the best things, and it's useful. It's very useful for even especially for designers. Yeah. So my next question goes to you. What role can cryptocurrency and the blockchain holds in the metaverse? Like, what exactly?
Blockchain is the backbone, right? So it's running on, that's the soul of a true metaverse, as I'm speaking, and that's why off-the-chain metaverses are not metaverses for me. Again, I'm biased, but I'm biased because I took a very calculated decision when it started. I could have gone with the off-the-chain metaverse also, which is off-chain kind of thing, because that time that was easier for me, coming from the Unreal background, coming from game background and all those things. Build an immersive world, add VR and say, hello, here is my metaverse, right? It's as simple as that, what Horizon does and all these guys do. So I don't think, so blockchain remains, because we are talking about interoperability, we are talking about NFTs and utility-based NFTs. We are talking about how we can actually earn money, how we can spend money. Of course, that can be switchable to money is always bringing the crypto part, but not necessarily. In our system, we have a Razorpay system and ETH system as well. So it's a bullion. We set it to, okay, take fiat currency, it does fiat currency. So crypto, I won't say at this moment, just to be safe and just because it's getting recorded, and I don't want, government officials to knock my doors again, is a choice. But blockchain is the soul. You can't live without that, so.
Perfect. So at the end, actually, I wanted to ask you, what was your lessons in this journey, the translating from the gaming industry to a metaverse industry? Okay. Yeah, you definitely. Even I agree, metaverse is nothing but an expansion of a gaming industry. But like, if you see what challenges you face in the transitions, yeah.
Oh, so very interesting question though. Sorry, that was just a joke. When you're making a game, what defines the game? The rule sets, right? You are playing by the rules of the designer, not by your own rules and stuff, right? It's you even though you're playing Far Cry or you're playing Elden Rings or you're playing Witcher, where tons of options are there. All the options are provided by one guy somewhere, sitting somewhere, right? He is the core guy, right? So consider this like my house rules, right? Versus the minute you step out, right? It's the things you can do and you do, right, are your choices. There are so many choices you make, so many things you do, and that's why I hate some of the. Have you played Riders Republic? Recently got to know it. Just in case if you want to keep using their bikes and stuff, you need to keep paying them 2,000 rupees every year. Like why? Like why should I do that? I bought the game, right? So we all know how Ubisoft and all these guys have lost the plot with in-app purchases, even in the console games and stuff and all. But still, the rules are defined by someone. Now I'm talking about a Wild West, right? You come in, you do whatever shit you want to do, right? You want to make money, you decide the rules of making money. Instagram. There's this guy, Trevor, right? Golden Retriever dog. Makes $5 million a year. Right? Banana and 5 million and 5 crore, sir. 5 crore. Sorry. But a year. Dog. Right? So my dog sleeps. So, but the thing is that interesting aspect here is that it's giving you a platform, where people are taking decisions and doing whatever they want to do, right? Similarly, in Metaverse, I had to think from that point of view. What all possibilities I can provide that people feel that they can do pretty much everything, but still be somewhere under my governance, be the god, be the government, right? Where tax lenge, they cannot commit certain crimes. So I'm doing the policing part right now a little bit, but people don't realize. Van Heusen recently opened a store in my metaverse. It was their choice what kind of store they wanted to open. It was their choice. It was their choice to bring in the band also for the opening day. Of course, band part was done by us because we have not handed over that tool yet to the people. So we did the showbaji and all those things, but we are in November also. We are also handing it out to like your 4 friends. One guy can go and drum, one other person can hold the guitar. You can create your own band with all the aesthetics and everything. One click particles, one click this, one thing click this. So it's a wild west. So thinking of all possibilities or kicking out all the possibilities and letting them do whatever they think is possible is the power of metaverse and what the power so that required a lot of understanding and everything, and still I won't say that we have even scratched the surface. We're working with 240 plus brands right now. We have a very decent 180,000 daily active users coming on our plate to the entire thing, yet we are figuring out. It will take 5 years probably, then we'll call ourselves whatever launcher for their devices and stuff.
I'm very much amazed. Home elevators has a huge scope. Elevators require regular maintenance for sure. Planning to expand our units and manufacture elevator equipments in Hyderabad. If you are going for UPVC or any other material, you need to go for a grill. Welcome viewers to My Startup TV. We are at the Industrial Innovation and Technology Expo 2023 organized by FTCCI in Hyderabad. This is the day 2 and we can already feel the buzz. We can hear the buzz here. I think it started off on a great note on day 1. Today I have with me Avinash Challa, who's the founder CEO of Cube IoT. And let's understand, they have put one of the stalls here and let's understand what their business into. They're doing some amazing products with a cutting edge technology, state of art. So let's talk to them and understand what their company is into and what kind of product they're building and how they're going to revolutionize the construction of the real estate industry with it. Avinash, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. So Avinash, let's start by understanding you itself. Avinash, as a founder, CEO of the company, tell us something about you. I'm very much amazed to see the outstanding response what we are getting in our FTCCI stall, which we have placed just nearby the stage. And I started my journey into entrepreneurship in 2006 when one day I got stuck in an elevator for about 2 hours. And then I have realized that if there is any company
which can give instant service within 1 or 2 hours, it would be very helpful. Then I found that there is no company such. Then I started a maintenance company in 2006-7, and then later on, immediately within 6 to 7 months, I have realized that having maintenance company is not just enough until and unless it is your elevator. So our first product is Cube elevators. We started our journey with that, and in Hyderabad we have installed so many elevators, which are hydraulic home lifts, which are electric traction elevators, machine room lifts, machine room less elevators, screw based elevators, rack and pinion lifts, goods elevators. You name any type of elevator, we are into manufacturing of different types of elevators, and starting from 2 passenger up to about 50 passenger, we can provide elevators with. And we started this whole journey by so our first product is actually elevators. For about 10 years we we supplied elevators, and then in 2017 we have named the whole organization as Cube IoT, which stands for Internet of Things. So because with the latest innovation and technology which is developing across the globe, we thought we should bring it to our company, to our country, and explore new opportunities, export our products across the globe with the latest smart elevators. So we have made our elevator, which is we made it a voice operated elevator. You can operate the elevator with your mobile. And the panels, earlier you have a regular stainless steel panels. We have changed those panels and integrated them with the new touch panels technology. So then with the new item to the cart of touch panels, we started supplying touch panels to homes as well, apart from elevators. So our Cube IoT, apart from elevators, as we have entered into touch panel manufacturing, so you can replace all your old switchboards with the latest, 100% reusable with 100% reusable plastic. You can have a beautiful touch panel with your family photo or a beautiful scenery of Mona Lisa. So, like, if you look at constructions, generally you will observe all the button switches are hidden to one of the corners. Now with this technology available, you can have a proper switchboard. It can be center of the hall as a beautiful photo frame, and it can have touch switches also. So with Internet of Things, we have elevators, we have touch switches which are integrated with Alexa and your mobile or Google Home, voice control, and we have switchable glasses as well.
That's interesting. A big range of, huge range of products that you're doing, and within elevators, you kind of different varieties which can be customized based on customer requirement. Now I understand it. So we regularly see paper ads and TV ads coming up where people are trying to say, promoting home elevators. Where do you see the market today? What is the size of the market, and where do you see it's going in coming time?
See, home elevators has a huge scope. Example, if you just think about, Hyderabad, Hyderabad is a growing city. You go to GHMC and get the stats of how many elevators or how many buildings are getting constructed in a month. We came to know with a proper analysis. I'll tell you how we have done that analysis, but we came to know about 3,000 homes are getting constructed and getting handed over every month in and around Hyderabad, that is in our Telangana state. So out of which 10% are apartments, rest all are independent houses. If it is an independent house, if it is more than a floor, ground plus 2 floors, if you don't have an elevator inside your building, the second floor is going to become basically no one is going to use that. It will become a storeroom. So people are opting for this new technology of home elevators in almost every house, because now in especially Hyderabad, you can see per SFT cost in a villa is costing about 8,000 rupees. Imagine your second and third floors in a villa are not utilized at all. So you are at loss of money, right? And elevator is only a product in which it adds value to a building. Imagine a apartment, ground plus 3 floors without an elevator. Each flat would cost about 30 lakh rupees. If you have an elevator, each flat would cost about 40 lakh rupees.
So elevators are value add to your house, even if it's an independent villa, right? Absolutely. So the obvious question is, around safety of the of these elevators, because regular maintenance would be required in home. Domestic maintenance is usually ignored as compared to in gated communities, let us say flats, where there is a maintenance corpus. People spend money on maintenance required, whereas in a domestic one, probably people would not spend so much. So safety, is that something would be of a concern?
When coming to elevators, all across the globe, there are some safety standards. And in our country, you have BIS standards. So any installation company should follow all these guidelines of elevator standards, which are already there. However, in some states, it is mandated. In our state, it is yet to be mandated. So for now, we have safety standards, but there are no rules by the government.
What my question was, if you see, maintenance is not on the priority list, when it comes to domestic household, right? If somebody was to ignore that, would that be a safety concern for a domestic or a home lift?
Absolutely. See, for elevator, just like a vehicle, elevator is vertical transportation, right? So it should have all the safeties, and the maintenance should be done regularly. If anyone ignores safety, then it may cause any kind of accident. So that is the reason government should have some mandate rules on to how a lift should be installed, who should install the lift. Like in all other states like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Delhi, you have certain rules. If someone doesn't follow the